the cherry on the cake. And but Wakefit is not really resting on its laurels only for things sleep related. It's also contributing to more restful places and restful homes, of course, with its home decor and furnishing as well. And co-founder of Wakefit, Chaitanya Ramalingegowda, joins us today to talk to us about all the latest developments at Wakefit. Chaitanya, thank you so much for joining us. And there's been a lot of exciting developments at Wakefit, including your recent funding. So congratulations on that. And you've obviously entered 2023 in a very strong and stable position, but many miles to go, I'm sure. So tell us a little bit more about the plans for 2023.
Thanks for having me, Kimberly. Always a pleasure to be with the Your Story team. The fundraise really came at an opportune time because, as you know, the last 12, 14 months have been tough for the funding environment. So we have been in the market talking to different investors, and finally we found the right partner. And more importantly, all of our three existing investors showed support and participated in the round. That gave us a lot of confidence to go on to the next stage of growth. In terms of the major initiatives, there are three things that come to mind. Number one is to continue to invest in the brand. We have very recently, maybe a year and a half or two earlier, we started actually brand building around ATL campaigns, having a very thoughtful voice. What should we stand for? All of which was organic and very ad hocly developed over the first 5 years of our existence. It's now being collated into a playbook, and we now have a cohesive story around the brand. So continue to invest around that, especially as we are expanding into furniture.
Yeah.
Second point is to expand our omni-channel presence. We piloted our first 10 stores last year. The results have been super encouraging. So we have now decided to expand further, and we'll very quickly take it up to 50 to 60 stores over the next 3 to 4 months.
All right.
And the third one is to strengthen the supply chain because furniture is a heavy and bulky product and non-standardized in size, dimensions, how to handle, how to install. So this supply chain and backend has never been built even by any of the existing companies. Think of e-commerce 10 years ago, where fulfillment centers, shipping, damages, installation, it's all being solved now. So we will continue to invest in that. So those are the three big areas that we'll continue to do over the next 12 to 15 months.
Absolutely. And you spoke about how the funding also came at a very opportune time, and how there's not been very much confidence really surrounding us in the kind of gloomy scenario that we're in right now. What do you feel that you did right as an entrepreneur, as a team, to be able to be in such a stable position at the moment, when things are not exactly rosy all around us?
I think our core DNA is what saved us, Beverly. Our DNA, Ankit and I both have been co-founders for the last 7 years. And before that, we've each done startups. I've done two, he's done one. I think our lessons in those failed startups have kept us grounded in the sense that we always were clear that the company has to survive on its own merit. Any external capital should be used to do things that internal accruals cannot solve. You need to put up a 50 crore factory, you cannot fund it through profits. You need that capital. If you need to do a 30 crore television campaign, you need that external capital. But for survival, we should never depend on external capital. That destiny, controlling your own destiny should be in our hands. So that DNA, which was almost like bordering on paranoia, is what saved because of that thought process. Mattress and accessories, which are our 7-year-old mature categories, are EBITDA positive. The mature, fast growing, very, very standard unit economics, profitable. So that's what saved the company, where even in this tough environment, the confidence from that showed that even for the furniture, the decisions we've taken, we will be able to take the same journey which we've taken for mattress and accessories. That's what inspired trust from what we can understand. And
absolutely,
Ankit and I also build very complementary skills. He's amazing at product development, consumer insight, everything related to supply side. He's brilliant at it. And from whatever I am able to contribute, it is on the demand side, marketing, sales, branding. So we work together to ensure that Wakefit is our primary focus.
Absolutely. So, the thing is, you and Ankit have obviously been there, done that, made your mistakes, and of course now had your successes as well. So, there are many aspiring entrepreneurs also out there who may not have, had the opportunity to really be there and do that as you have. What would be the three key pieces of advice you would give them? Because, it is intimidating to try and build something in this kind of environment at the moment. If I could ask you, what would be your three key pieces of advice to them?
I wouldn't go so far as to call it advice. I can only say what learnings we've had, because in the startup world, advice and mentorship is much abused uh,
Mm.
as, as
That's
terms.
true. Yeah.
I can
My
share,
bad. I should have used a different word.
not at all. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But if I have to share three learnings, number one would be always to listen to consumers,
Hmm.
because people underestimate the amount of information that your consumers can give you. Interviews, focus groups, visiting them at their homes, listening to their complaints, listening to their escalations. It's a wealth of knowledge that nobody else has. That's the most important source of how you can grow the company in the right way. Number two, uh, pick up a problem that you are passionate about and you can give 5 to 7 to 10 years.
Hmm.
If you do it just because the market is hot or that
Hmm.
seems a cool sector, you will
Hmm.
not be able to go through the tough times, because it's really is a grueling task. And if you're not interested in the problem, on the really tough days, you don't want to get out of bed and come to work. Um, that is number two. And number three, funding is a responsibility, not a milestone.
Hmm.
These people are putting in money and they have their own fiduciary responsibilities to their investors, which means you have to do everything possible to give them their return. It's not a milestone to just celebrate, go on press and go on interviews. It's a big responsibility where you're now obligated to give them a return by doing well and working for your employees, for your shareholders, and ensuring that everybody's ESOPs, everybody's shares are worth a lot. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you may not call that advice. You didn't want to call it advice, but I personally think that was great advice, and it was very honest as well. Because it's. I think sometimes people tend to get lost in the glitz and glamour of the startup world. Because now there's so much attention on it and things like that. So thank you for being very honest and giving us very practical suggestions as well. And of course, listening to customers, I think, is something that you all are known for. And you're listening to customers from the deepest part of the country. We hear about mattresses being delivered to all over the country, really. So tell us a little bit more about the kind of penetration plans you have going forward as well.
Sure, sure. Yeah, that is very, very exciting. We were one of the pioneers to bring the roll packing technology to India. So even our giant king size mattresses would go in a small cylindrical box. And that not only reduces the cost of supply chain, more importantly, it opens up more pin codes for us.
Mm,
Sitting here, you can deliver to the farthest area of Leh Ladakh, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Jammu and Kashmir. So it, because it is so compact and it is a mattress which can be thrown around and nothing will happen to the neatly packaged product inside, that really opened up access to pin codes. So mattress and accessories have pan-India serviceability over 19,000 pin codes. Wherever e-commerce penetration is there, we are able to deliver. But on the furniture side, because you need to have delivery and installation, and
mm,
our carpenters who are trained in the Wakefit Gurukul system go and deliver and install. So we cannot have it in 500, 600 cities. It's more of a vanity metric if you do that.
mm,
So we have chosen about 23 cities where there is good amount of penetration on e-commerce as well as retail by other industries. And in those 23 cities, we are able to deliver and install almost all of our furniture products. And for context, this would be about 65-70% of the overall market in India. So the major 23 cities is where we are operating. We plan to expand that to about 50 over the coming months.
All right. Well, that certainly sounds interesting. And like I said, more restful spaces and homes are also something that we need in today's day and age, because, we do have a lot of, stress around us. And talking about from your customers, now coming to your employees, and talking about restful places, you make work also, well, not too much of a restful place because ultimately work has to get done. But I think the mental well-being and mental health of your employees is a very big focus at Wakefit, which I personally think is so important. So tell us a little bit about the kind of initiatives that you have in this direction.
Yes, this is something that we are very, very caring about. There are two big initiatives that we've done over the coming in the previous months. One was the right to nap policy, which our HR team instituted, basically, which is 2 to 2:30 p.m. every single day for every one of the 1,500 employees. The HR team has blocked out their calendar and said it's right to nap. So the results completely surprised us. People went out for walks, did meditation exercises, listened to music, took a nap on their desk, went to the nap room, whatever they had to do to recenter themselves and come back refreshed. That ended up being the result. And number two is we have always been known for the no questions asked return policy for
Mm,
products. So that triggered off another thought that one of our surveys showed that people, even though they have the freedom to ask and apply for X number of leaves every year, that there is a field in the application which says reason for leave.
mm.
A lot of times they don't want to share it or they are
Yeah,
uncomfortable
yeah.
to share it. They might be having a mental health day, they might be having period pains, they might be having just feeling low that day, they might be just under the weather, but it's a very uncomfortable thing to share in a professional.
Mm,
So we said we'll add a third category of leave. There's earned leave, casual leave, sick leave, all of that. But then there's a new category called no questions asked wellness leave. So you can just apply without having to share anything. You don't have to share anything with your manager. There's X number of leaves added every month, and you are free to avail without feeling embarrassed or without feeling mortified about what to write, when to write. So I think that is again, we've within the first month of releasing of that feature, about 320 people had availed that.
wow.
So it was a latent need.
Yeah.
So the small things is what we do. We don't do flashy stuff, but if we can take care of the team and ensure we do it consistently, that's okay. That's what we're aiming for.
Absolutely. Well, I think I'm definitely going to suggest the 2 to 2:30 nap time also, just or taking off time. I think that's a great idea. It helps people to get recharged at work. So thank you for sharing that. And my final question to you, Chaitanya, what does a founder need to be able to sleep easy at night?
I think from a operational standpoint, founders are wired not to sleep well. Uh, so you're constantly thinking and wondering and solving for the next problems. But I think what lets you be uh, enable you to have the environment to sleep soundly at night would probably be running the company ethically.
Yeah.
Uh, there's nothing to hide. It's okay. Whatever happens, whenever somebody comes, whenever somebody wants to look at it, at any point in time, you're okay. There's nothing to hide. I think that gives you peace of mind.
Absolutely. And I think that's you've been very open in this interview as well. And clearly, it's a strategy that is working for you and the team at Wakefit. Thank you so